This past Sunday, we had a wonderful time of sharing both in worship and then at a program over a potluck lunch from Dr. Bill and Ann Clemmer, wonderful American Baptist missionaries who are serving in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And they have served as missionaries now for 30 years, even raising their four young children while in the mission field. And their service in Africa is an illustration of what we hear in Mark chapter 13. Mark chapter 13 is what's known as the little apocalypse. It's where in Mark's gospel Jesus talks about the end of the age and what things will be like towards the end and what needs to happen before the end. And our verse for the day is Mark chapter 13, verse 10, where Jesus says, "And the good news must first be proclaimed to all nations." And this is again an example of what is the church called to do. And you and I, we can't all travel to the Democratic Republic of the Congo or to different nations where people have not yet heard the good news about God's love for all the world in Jesus Christ and about God's grace and mercy and love. And so for centuries, missionaries have gone out from different countries to different parts of the world to bring that good news. And one of the things we heard from Ann Clemmer on Sunday was about the tremendous needs in the community and the city where they serve. And one of the things that they are doing is they are helping. She talked about there being more than 3,000 children that they're aware of on the streets from ages as young as 5 or 6 into their early teens, and how vulnerable and how needy those children are. And they have started programs through their church, and they're providing food. But one of their great needs is a place for these children to sleep. And she shared that they have recently been able to acquire a house, but now they need the funds to be able to renovate it. And when Ann came back and sat down in the pew next to me, I asked her, how much do you think it will cost to renovate this house so these kids can have a safe place to sleep? And she said around $20,000. So I'm encouraging our church to take on that challenge of raising that $20,000 so the Clemmers can have that house renovated and those poor vulnerable kids can have a safe place to sleep in that city. I'm happy to tell you that in just a matter of a morning, I know we've raised more than a third of that money, and we haven't even shared this need with you. I'm doing that today, and with our 8:30 service. But this is part of how the good news is shared with all nations. Some people physically go like the Clemmers. Some of us who don't go, we provide the funding that enables them to carry on God's work. And I'm just so proud of BBC for how incredibly generous our congregation is in responding to needs like this and to helping the good news be proclaimed to all nations.